Thank you so much for joining me today. I have a really gentle flow that has a focus on balance. So we're going to start standing. You don't need anything but yourself and some bare feet so that you can sense your connection to the ground and the environment in a more fully embodied way. So take a moment to just notice where your feet naturally land. You can look down at them. There may be a sense that you're looking down over a cliff face. They may seem really far away. They may seem difficult to see based on your body shape, but you're going to have a general awareness of where your feet hit the floor. You might notice that one foot naturally is pointed outward and maybe one is pointed inward, or perhaps they're both pretty organized facing forward. As humans, and our walking pattern is such that we move forward in space. And so ideally we would like our toes all pointing forward in a way that feels comfortable and relaxed and not forced. So if you just notice where you're at, maybe you're here, maybe you're here, maybe you're here, maybe you're here. You don't need to instantly force anything, but just kind of notice and then see if you can sense, well, do I actually need to orient here first and then kind of shuffle and then collect myself back and then find home base? Or maybe you're here and maybe you can just simply step into home base. So wherever you're at, just take a moment to shuffle around a little bit. You might feel your pelvis shifting forward and back. And then just kind of have a little bit of a shuffle around on your mat and see if you can find yourself in a somewhat organized position with all 10 toes facing forward in a way that doesn't feel overly contrived. And then once you're arrived there, take a moment to shift your weight back towards your heels and then forward towards the balls of your feet. You can have your heels float up a little bit and then shifting back until your toes peel off and shifting forward until your weight gets kind of uncentered. So we're just experimenting and trying to find our center of gravity. When we get into a tension pattern, it can get kind of high and we want it to drop down. And then maybe see if you can shift your weight to the outside edge of one foot and the inside edge of another. And then try the outside edge of the other foot and the inside edge of the other. And just experiment with that a few times. And while you're experimenting with that, try and have one piece of your intrinsic experience always anchored in the environment. So maybe you're noticing birds or the lighting, and then you're checking back in with your feet on the floor. And then you're just slowly feeling as though you're coming all the way into your body and finding a place that's a little more organized and where your center of gravity feels stable and settled. And then we're going to take our pelvis and really shift it over to our, if you're my mirror image, my right standing leg. And then I'm going to lift my left foot up. You can do whatever you want with your hands. I'm just going to take mine here in front of my chest because that feels like what's helping with my balance today. Finding your balance on that right leg and noticing what's drawing your attention. Maybe it's all that micro movement happening around your ankle and deep in your intrinsic foot muscles. See if you can let go of any clenching or gripping and just allow the uncertainty of all of that balance check-in. And then go ahead and place that foot down. And just allow your pelvis to really shift over your left leg and pick up the other foot. And notice if one side is easier than the other. I find this side actually quite a bit easier. It feels more effortless. There's not quite as much micro movement going on. And again, just checking in to make sure you're not gripping or clenching anywhere. And then when you're ready, go ahead and place that foot down. You can just give yourself a little bit of a shakeout if you need to. And then we're going to very intentionally wake up our ankles and lower legs. So again, whatever you feel like is comfortable for your arms, just allow them to be. And we're going to rock forward to the balls of the feet and actually rise up onto the toes, onto the balls of the feet. And then as you lower the heels, really feel as though you're squeezing out a ball, and roll to the balls of the feet and squeeze a ball as you come down under your heels. Again, floating up and lowering down and floating up and lowering down. You can put your hands on your waist if you want, and floating up. You can use them wide. You can bring them in front of you, whatever you feel like you need for support today. Whoa, and down. Good. And just stand in a nice, tall, clean position there. Again, sensing your ground, noticing what's maybe warmed up, what's kind of got more awareness to it. And then we're going to just take our feet a little bit wider, but still parallel, all 10 toes facing forward. And we're going to take a treading action through the feet. So allowing your pelvis to shift and really working through the feet, rolling through the feet, orienting your torso towards one side and then the other side. You can actually add some free-flowing arms in if that helps. And just allowing that kind of undulation, working through the feet without collapsing the arch. And just take a few more here. And one more on each side. Taking as much time as you need to sense what's going on and pause. So now we've landed with our feet a little bit wider. We're going to maintain that width, but just open out to a little bit of a externally rotated position. So from here, just take your hands on your thighs. We're going to slide down and slide up and slide up. Good. Feeling your thigh bones nice and relaxed inside your muscles, inside the fascial sheath. Everything is gliding. Everything is moving smoothly. You can make it as big or as small as you like. And pause. We're going to take this same foot placement that hopefully feels quite stable and grounded, and we're going to add a micro kind of arc in our upper back. So leaning to the left, gentle curve. Keep your upper back above your pelvis though. The mobility is really just in your upper back and neck. So we will disrupt our balance and our center of gravity in this motion if we allow kind of our mid-upper back to shift forward of our of the back side of our pelvis. And let's reverse. So let's reverse whatever direction you've gone. Just pick the other side and see if you can get some ease, find some ease in your upper body, but feel grounded and stable through your pelvis and your connection into the floor. And just take a couple more. And pause. Just shuffle your feet in so that hopefully if things have eased up a little bit, you can now find access to those toes pointing forward without forcing them. And we're going to take a little bit of an undulation this way. So keeping the feet nice and grounded, you're going to reach your chin forward and then vacuum your chin in and a gentle tuck of your tail to roll back up. And then allow your tailbone to reach out and your chin to reach forward as you fold all of your lower body joints. And then suction your chin in and gentle tuck of the tail to roll up. Again, release and hinge and curve and unfold. Again, release and hinge and curve and unfold. So finding some ease through the lower body joints in conjunction with some mobilization in the upper body can just help free everything up. So balance isn't any one thing. If we don't have good just overall mobility, that can interfere with our ability to balance as well, because if we're locked up, if we're locked up, we can't find that deep kind of intrinsic subtle connection that you would need if you imagine that you were maybe standing on a skateboard or a surfboard or something where you need to be resilient and mobile and reactive. So with that said, we are going to now shift our focus a little bit in our lower body to a specifically externally rotated position and just challenge a little bit of a Tai Chi type flow. So bring your hands to heart center with me, and we're going to take a gentle bend in all of the lower body joints. Shift the pelvis to free up the leg, step it out, roll through the foot, glide and push. And return your pelvis over your standing leg. Pick that leg up and unfold. We'll go to the other side. Everything folds. Shift your pelvis to release your leg. Place it down. Glide. Glide. Come back to home and unfold. Again, everything softens. Feeling those kind of micro shifts that happen. You have to get your pelvis over your standing weight before you can unweight that leg that needs to shift out. These are all things that we take for granted when we're moving really well. But when we've gotten offline, it can be helpful to slow down and be more introspective about movement patterns. And finding all of that micro connection that happens just effortlessly when we're moving well. And fold, shift, release that leg, roll through the foot, glide, glide, bring that foot in, and unfold. Last one here. Fold, shift, release, and glide, and glide. Bring that foot back home and stand tall. So you can shake around for a second. So that's, a good example of what it feels to move in a really smooth, connected way with tensegrity, meaning that there's always kind of a sense of push and pull, and there's never a collapse. And that's another component I think that's really helpful with balance. So let's just once again organize ourselves, feet under our hips facing forward, and we'll just kind of take a moment to connect back in home base here, and we'll bring it to a close. So notice again what's going on in the environment at this point. Notice where your attention lies. And notice if you can feel your center of gravity in a more relaxed but connected manner. And then when you're ready, just go ahead and bring your hands back to heart center with me. And we'll just take one breath together here. So just dropping the arms down and allowing them to bring your ribs up as you see the sky. And reaching forward, or sorry, to the sides of the room and down. And thank you so much for joining me today. So small things, you know, a few basic movement patterns that seem like nothing can actually really kind of get you focused and woken up. And in some ways, even more so because it's not overwhelming to your nervous system. So usually when our bodies are in a state of shutdown or collapse, our nervous system is taxed and it doesn't need more stuff coming at it. It needs the right stuff, and it needs your attention placed in the right way, and it needs a thoughtful approach, just not more. So thank you again so much for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care. Bye for now.